Alright guys, welcome back. I'm here for the second installment of Deadly Assault Boss Manual. Today I'm covering Unknown Corruption Complex. In short, UCC. I will not be using its full name every single time I refer to it. Anyhow, this is one of the bosses currently available in this Deadly Assault cycle. It can be rather annoying to fight due to a lot of jank that is present in this fight, so hopefully, after I explain the fight and try to go over as many tips as I can, you have a bit of an easier time going through this guy. Without further ado, let's get into it. So, the usual, let's go over the basics of Unknown Corruption Complex. This guy is a electric and ether weak boss with no resistances. The main point of the fight, in short, is the guy has 6 legs that you're able to break with enough damage. Once these legs break, you get some free damage, some free days, and you get a buff that you can see in the buff description. Impairing these legs will give you performance points, so it's pretty important that you do that. With enough damage, you can also impair its head. You'll usually just see this during stun windows. It does double the damage that a leg break would do, but I do not believe that it adds to your performance points. Now, this boss has a lot of attacks that you actually cannot parry, so when going to this fight, you will notice that a lot of the time, you will just have to kind of rotate through your allies as normal and just kind of tank through or awkwardly dodge a bunch of the things it's doing. So because of that, and also due to a lot of jank that comes with the honestly horribly made hitboxes that this guy has, it can be really frustrating to play a lot of teams into this guy. But the main idea of the fight is that you go in, you break a bunch of legs for points, for damage, and for days, you get to your stun a little faster, do your damage, and you basically loop that over and over. He is fairly similar to Typhon in the fact that he kind of stuns himself, but to a much less potent degree, so the teams that you bring into this will be a little bit different than what you would bring into Typhon. Him also having no resistance is quite nice. So let's go a little bit more in depth into talking about this fight. The most important part here is the leg breaks, the leg impairs. So the legs on this guy break after you've dealt a certain amount of damage to them. This damage is correspondent to a very, very, very small percentage of the guy's max HP. I believe the legs get gradually tankier as you break more, maybe it's placebo effect, but at least from my own experience, it feels like every leg takes longer to break. Once you break a leg, it will do 0.4% of the guy's max HP. It will give you a fair amount of days, and of course, it gives you your performance points. Now, how do you break these legs? Very important thing to note when you are breaking the legs is that they do not take damage from anomalies in general. Things like shock, corruption, or burn damage, as an example, will only do damage to the main body and not to the legs. The same applies to disorders. You cannot break legs through anomaly damage. This means that to break them, you have to hit them with raw damage from your motion values. What are your motion values? It's basically the percentages that you see on a bunch of agent skills. And basically, only damage dealt through these motion values is what actually is going to break these legs. An example of a character that does a ton of motion value damage is Miyabi. Miyabi, even though she is an anomaly character, is basically functioning as an attack character, and she does most of her damage through just crit damage. This makes her very good at breaking these legs, as it'll just naturally happen as you play your rotation. Once you have done enough damage to the legs, the way to actually break them, once your HP is at 1, they will only actually break to finishing blows. Now, when I last referred to this, I said you needed a heavy attack to break these. I was wrong when I said that. I believe, at least from testing and from things I have seen, from actual results, I don't really understand how the game's code is actually written, but from experience from both my own runs and other people's runs, to break a leg, you have to hit it with a finishing blow. Now, what is a finishing blow? It's a term I've made up, but basically, if you've played this game at all, you will notice that sometimes enemies refuse to die until the animation you're currently in is finished. For example, if you hit an enemy at 1 HP with the Haru EX special attack, he will not die until the animation is over. It's to make the game look flashier. Now that's what a finishing blow is. Certain attacks have a quality attached to them that makes it so they can actually kill enemies. Your character also has to be on field for this to happen. If I, for example, hit an enemy with an attack that is at 1 HP, and then swap off the character, the enemy will actually just stay alive. It's a very annoying mechanic, but basically almost pretty much every attack in the entire game has a finishing blow, but it just means that, for example, if you hit a leg with a long animation, it's not going to break until the animation ends most of the time. So yeah, once you've gotten the leg down to 1 HP, any punishing blow should destroy it, and that will give you your repair. I should mention that there is actually no real way to tell when you've done enough damage to the legs. This is just something you will get a feel for as you play more. You don't have an HP bar, unfortunately. But once you destroy the leg, you can actually very visibly see that it is broken. Attacking this leg any longer will still do damage to the boss, but you will not be contributing towards any more leg breaks. So try not to attack a leg that has already been broken. An easy way to tell if a leg has been broken is if they're still glowing blue. Now, most people will tell you that to tell if a leg is broken, you simply look at if it's very damaged or not, but this can be very hard to tell, especially from the other side of the boss, because he moves around a lot. What I say you do to try to figure out which legs are broken and which ones aren't, is you look at the feet, which have these rims that are glowing blue when they are actually working. Once you break a leg, this glow goes away, and it's simply the yellow color. You can actually see these from the underside of the boss, which you can always look at by simply panning your camera. By checking if the rims on the boss are glowing blue or not, you'll be able to tell from almost any angle which legs are actually broken and which ones aren't, which is, at least in my opinion, much easier to tell than trying to look at every leg and seeing how broken it is. Because having to circle around the guy over and over again just to find a leg is really annoying, so check for the feet. As I briefly mentioned earlier, you can also get impairs on the head of the Corruption Complex. This is done by attacking the main body once it is stunned. And if you do enough damage to that, it will also give you an impair that will do double the damage. It will do 0.8% of the enemy's max HP, which still isn't a lot, but you know, that's nice. Your plan when playing against this boss is to use the impairs to your advantage. Because the impairs give you a free amount of days, Corruption Complex is able to be stunned a bit faster than normal, because the impairs give you some extra days. Not as much as Typhon, but still it's a nice amount. In general, when playing teams that do a bunch of damage outside of stun, you can expect to get 3 stun windows on average, as long as you're getting all of the different leg breaks. If you look at a bunch of my Grace Haru runs against this guy, they usually just consist of breaking 2 legs, doing the first stun, breaking another 2 legs, doing the second stun, then breaking the last 2 legs, and just barely getting the third stun in. This is generally what your plan is going to be. You want to manage these leg breaks and make sure you get them at a nice time. Another thing that leg breaks can actually do, a leg break during stun will actually extend the stun window slightly, as opposed to giving you days, which depending on what you're playing can actually be really nice. You want to be careful though, if you accidentally break a leg at a really high days number, like 95 or 97 or 90, you'll actually be wasting a lot of that days, because obviously if you're not getting a bunch of days value out of it, and you're not getting the stun extension, you're kind of wasting that leg break. So you want to be careful of when you break legs. Aside from the leg breaking, there really isn't anything too special to the complex fight. It's pretty straightforward. You just have to know when to break these legs and how it's going to help your team. So for the next section, I'm just going to be going over every single attack that this guy can do, what triggers it, if I could explain, and yeah, just give you a general overview of every single attack this guy does. Knowing the attacks doesn't really do anything except just help you in knowing how to counter them. But anyhow, here are all of them. For some reason, him spawning in has a hitbox. No. Laser. You can always do this, it's completely random. Actually, every single attack he does is completely random. Even sequences of attacks have RNG to them. The laser will roughly track you, and once it's done, it'll explode the area it marked. Drill Slam. This attack lingers, don't stay close to it. Missiles. Pay attention to its shoulders. This tends to go on for a little while, 3 dodges usually. Stomp. You can actually parry this. And follow up. Bitch move, jumps away, then swipe with his arm. Followed by jackhammer tapping. I hit 3 times. Bitch move 2, but with saw slam, does not linger. Followed by a drill swipe. This does linger. Drill swipe, but very slightly different hand angle. Drill slam 2, very slightly different. Look at his hand. Saw arm push. This one lingers. A lot. Followed by tail slam type A, it does not linger. Saw arm push in place. Also lingers. A lot. Tail Slam Type B, this one lingers a little bit. Rock Throw, only from really far away. Or if he bugs. I've had it from close range too. Big Hop, does it randomly. Tail Whack, can be parried and follow up. And lingers for some reason. Tail Whack, but he puts his back into it. This one you can follow up. Vroom Vroom, only from really far away. It lingers. I want to know it once again, you don't need to know any of these, I just wanted to list them, just in case. Okay, advanced tips. I have a lot less to talk about here than I did with Typhon. In general, Complex is just a much more simple fight, so there's really not a lot. But the first thing I can bring up is evasive assists. Evasive assists in this fight are actually quite good, at least from my own experience, because almost all of UCC's attacks cannot be parried, or if they can be parried, you can't follow up. It's actually nice to get some evasive assists in. Evasive assists, I already explained in the Typhon video, but basically there's two perfect assists, there's parries, and then there's evasives. Evasives basically evade the attack and slow the game down. This slowdown is actually super nice for this boss, because it kind of just bombards you with really shit hitboxes. It is actually super helpful to have an evasive vital beat up, because it lets you do your rotation more smoothly without being interrupted awkwardly or taking a lot of damage. This also means that the Sports Set Proto Punk is really nice to use here. If your team has an evasive assist, I strongly recommend actually using it. I don't think it is strong enough to bring an evasive assist on a team that doesn't need it, but if you do have them, definitely use them. You'll find that they're actually really nice. Another tip I can give is making good use of your character's mobility. Certain characters can move around very quickly. Rina, by default, is very fast. Haru basically teleports to the enemy on his enhanced dash attack. Ellen has her special dash. Miyabi also has a special dash. Billy has his rolls. And in general, any character that can move really fast is going to feel really nice in this fight, because you want to chase down the legs that haven't broken yet, and trust me, UCC really likes to move out of the way. He really likes to run away and make sure you can't get those legs, so utilizing the mobility of your characters, if applicable, can actually really help you in getting all the leg breaks before the time runs out. Next, ultimates out of stun. I did forget to mention earlier, but breaking legs actually gives you a ton of decibels. It gives you 1000 free decibels on the character that broke the leg. This is incredible, and frankly, it allows you to get more ultimates than you would normally. Because of this, it is often worth it to use your ultimates outside of the stun window, because you are likely to just get it back by the time of the stun window if you're breaking legs actively. If you're able to plan out your fight in such a way that your decibels line up nicely, you can actually use your ultimates outside stun and inside stun, and it'll lead to just more damage overall, of course. Well yeah, that's about it for the advanced tips. Like I said, it's a super basic fight. Anything else just boils down to managing your leg breaking to be as efficient as possible. Make sure to space those out, don't break them all at once. And also remember that Anomaly does not break legs, you have to use raw motion values. Now let's briefly talk about teams and characters that you can bring into UCC. I don't like to recommend very specific teams or very specific characters to bring in here usually, but I can already tell you Miyabi is incredible for this fight. Sure, I mean, yeah, it's Miyabi, it's the best DPS in the game, but not just for that reason. What you want to bring into this fight is characters that excel in doing damage outside of stun. Miyabi does a fuck ton of damage outside of stun. Her damage also comes from her motion values, which means that she is incredible at breaking legs. So utilizing Miyabi either in Mono Ice or one of her other traditional teams is going to be great here. Other good out-of-stun options would include something like Mono Ether with Zhu, which is a bit different from how she would usually play with Qingyi, but it is absolutely functional, thanks to UCC being weak to Ether. Nicole is actually incredible for this. Nicole already is, in my opinion, the best character in the game. Just putting that out there. But what Nicole actually does is, aside from giving you a really strong buff, good energy, good quick assist, and all the bullshit, because the enemy is either weak, she'll actually be doing good damage too. So, if you can, bring Nicole here. It's great. Another surprisingly great out-of-stun team for this, you already know I was going to plug it, is Grace Rina Harumasa, or potentially soon to be Grace Trigger Harumasa. This is Harumasa's more niche team, the Anomaly team. It allows Harumasa to play outside of stun, as opposed to being in stun with Qingyi. And while his damage is significantly lower on paper, the ability to just constantly attack legs with his incredibly fast dash attack and constant string of heavies, he is actually an incredible character at breaking legs. Now, Qingyi, on her own, I want to just mention this briefly, Qingyi on her own is not incredible, far from it, at actually breaking legs. But if you decide to bring her, which is completely valid, she should for sure be on a crit build, so you maximize the damage it does to those legs, just so the damage that she does to the legs is actually meaningful, and you can break them more easily. Now once again, same as last time, I am going to talk about Harumasa's matchup into this boss. This one, in short, it's great. I actually really like Harumasa into this boss. Not so much with Qingyi, but a hell of a lot with Grace. Let me talk in general, of course. The enemy being weak to electric is an upside for Harumasa, he will do more damage. Harumasa himself is really good at breaking legs, he does a ton of damage with those dashes, and every single one counts as a finishing blow. As I mentioned as well, Haru has very good mobility with his dash attacks, they basically teleport into the target. As long as you're facing a straight line towards the leg that you want to hit, he's just going to dash right through it instantly, which is incredible. And now this is more specifically when you're playing Haru's Anomaly team with Grace. that team really struggles in stunning the enemy. Here, you're actually getting 6 separate instances of free days, so his team getting free days assistance is really good for him and elevates the Grace team to be a lot better than it actually is. On top of that, evasive assists, like I said, are very nice in this fight. Specifically in this fight with Grace Rina, it is actually super nice to bring that team, because the evasive assists make it so you almost never have to actually deal with the shitty hitboxes of the boss. Haru himself has damage reduction and cannot be interrupted during his dash attacks, so you will not really find yourself getting interrupted at all unless it's in a really unlucky timing. And in general, one of his teammates, Rina, even though her evasive assist is absolutely horrible, canceling it because of her insane movement speed is actually really nice, so you can run around or fly around UCC super quickly and get to the leg that you actually want to damage. On top of that, like I mentioned as well, the stun window can be extended if you decide to get your leg breaks inside stun instead of outside of stun. This is more so of a thing for the Chingy team, but still, it's really nice, and you can just allow him to get more dashes inside the stun window if that's what you're trying to go for. Now for the negatives, there's not a lot. The main negative, I guess, is that Chingy isn't the best into this fight, once again. Chingy doesn't have a great track record in Deadly Assault, I'm noticing. The issue with Chingy here is just that the enemy Daze HP is actually quite high. It takes a very long time to stun the guy, even though he is electric weak. It takes a long time to stun Corruption Complex if you're not getting any impairs, and Chingy is not very good at getting impairs if she's not being supported by Astra. I guess you can support it by Rina too, but it's a lot weaker. So yeah, the only real downside of Haru into this fight is just that Chingy herself is not the best into it. But Haru himself he ticks all the boxes. He can break legs really well. He does a ton of damage inside stun. He benefits from getting more days and from a longer stun window. He basically has the entire fight is designed almost entirely for his normal team. It's really great. So overall, final thoughts. This is possibly the best fight in the game ever for Grace Haru. In general, Haru with Chingy, it's okay. I would say it's a bit better than Typhon. It's a bit less cringe to manage than Typhon with Chingy, but overall it's a good fight, for sure. I'll give it like a 7 out of 10 overall, and a 9 out of 10 for the Grace team. Really good matchup for this guy, so if you have any Harus, bring him here. He will probably perform the best. Okay, you know what time it is. It's time for the example run, the showcase, live commentary. I was really on the fence about what the hell I want to run into this. I wasn't sure, but I thought I should run Grace Rina Haru because it takes like all the boxes to the fight. It's like a perfect matchup. It shows everything that you want to do. But I have so many showcases of this team already. I feel like we've seen enough of it. So what I'm going to do instead is I wanted to run something more free to play. So I tried Grace Rina Anton, but that was like, I'm barely using Anton. It's not really fair. So I said, fuck it. We're playing Billy again. Once again, Billy is on his usual build. Pecker. Nicole is on a swing build. Volkra is on Astral. I could run Nicole on... I could run somebody here on Proto instead of Swing. So I could do Proto Punk and Astral instead of Astral and Swing. It was about fine. I'm not going to super bother too much with that. My Volkra has no investment. She's level 50 and 0. Or B. I wish I was able to level my Volkra, but I can't at the moment because I'm waiting for Trigger. So either way though, I've tried this thing before. It actually does fine. It's really fun to play. It's a bit low on the damage because it's not well invested, but we'll see how it goes. If it takes more than one attempt, I will state that. I will absolutely cut away and just say, yes, this was not the first attempt. Anyway. Yeah, I've been getting very unlucky. I keep getting 19k. Unfortunately, Core B Pulchra is not really cutting it. Very unfortunate. I know. Okay, not everyone gets in the first try. That. Okay, get that shit live. On my EX or not, because I get sucked into that. Ooh, what? The not EX? That's weird. That is rather odd, in fact. Nice, it did input, just barely. I cannot dodge that. The edge block is already gone. That's it live again. Oh, I thought I had no energy, that's fine. Small waste of resources. We got him back anyway. Doesn't really matter. Oh, I could dodge that. Okay, I'm gonna stall this out. Fully train with this. Second bully train here. No ultimate means I do this. Got our head impair as well. Free damage. There we go. Ooh, got a leg impair. Very fast. I hit both legs here. Yep, nice. I'm gonna double ult here for days on energy and quick assist. It's so nice to get quick assist with this team, like it's so free and easy. Ooh, almost didn't get that. Nicole N1 for that shred just before the EX with Billy hits. You can do that, it's very cool. Oh, that was awkward. My EX missed because he jumped. Yeah, the jump is kind of shit. Can't do much about it, sadly. Oh, that's a... what the fuck? That's a glows? I'm discovering new attacks. Never seen in my life. It'd be like that sometimes, I suppose. I guess. Learn new things every day. This guy is more ass than I thought. And I thought he was very ass. The assery has no limits. I'm gonna assist here, thank you. I'll dash back. Oh wow, that was so slow. Fine though. Can I ult him here? Yeah. No impair yet. There we go, that's where it was. I impaired the back leg actually. Doesn't really matter which leg it is. Oh, it's a leg. I will say about this team, it's so hard to manage leg breaks because you move so much. So like, it's far from the most efficient thing I've ever played, but it is very, very fun. Anyway, this is it. Owarida. This one was by so much more. So I had two 19Ks, then we jumped to 25K. Okay, cool. Sure. I think I had better leg breaks or something. I think that's probably why. Yeah, 25K, nice. Almost max performance points. Like, even without breaking like every possible leg, we still did fine. Yeah, it took a few attempts because I was getting really shit luck. But you know, it's fine, that's gonna happen. Like, one thing you gotta learn about Deadly Assault is that your scores are not a consistent metric of how well you did in the fight. Not at all. I've had god runs that get, like, really mid scores. Like, this just happens. The run was okay. I was kind of just mashing buttons for a lot of it. I thought it was... This team is so fucking fun, by the way. It seems like up there as one of my favorites. Yeah, you don't have to bring the exact team that I brought. You really don't have to bring my example teams. I'm just trying to play something that's a little more low investment, I guess. So you can kind of... I can kind of just like walk you through the fight in real time to see what I'm kind of thinking. Yeah, even in a super messy fight where I wasn't super keeping track of legs, it worked out okay. Everyone knows Billy's build. I mean, the foot real quick here. Very strong build. Yeah, no edge ranks again. I just have Nicole on Kaboom because Kaboom is very strong. You could even run Nicole on Proto-Punk here as well because of all the assists you're doing. Again, I think Proto-Punk's pretty good in this fight if you have an evasive assist, which Pulcra is. Again, the Pulcra core beef. Like, Pulcra is doing basically nothing except just giving me some assists and, like, a little bit of days. A tiny bit of days. Super fucking fun character, by the way. Yeah, that's it. I hope this guide helps people as much as the Typhon guide does. This is not that difficult of a fight to 3-star, but it can be a little bit annoying if you're messing with the shitty hitboxes on the guy. They're a real pain in the ass. Sometimes he does shit that he's not supposed to do. Like, he does attacks, like long-range attacks from point blank for some reason, like you saw earlier, I think. Yeah, it's a massive pain in the ass. Electric weak enemies are just designed to be ass, but you know, what can you do about it? Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next guide, which will be on Pompeii.